Bienvenue à tous. Ah, yes, life is sweet. I'm in Paris, it's sunny, and it's the Rugby World Cup. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Let's take a look now at one of the teams that's made possibly the biggest impression in this tournament, Argentina. Argentina, considered previously as a small nation, now are getting bigger and bigger in terms of world rugby. So what's going on in Argentina? Why are people so crazy about rugby? Here's our report.
Whether it's selling beer, mobile phones or health insurance, this World Cup has made the Pumas hot commercial property. Never before have companies gone so big on rugby.
Well, I can definitely say the World Cup has had a positive impact. We've got the feeling that this isn't just rugby, it's more like a big football tournament. Everyone is watching.
And to capitalise on this newfound interest in the sport, Argentina desperately want more top-level matches against the best Southern Hemisphere teams or in the Northern Hemisphere, given that most of Argentina's best players are European-based.
If the Pumas join the Tri-Nations, they'll need at least 3 or 4 years to find their feet. As for the Six Nations, that's more their level, and logistically, it will be easier to manage.
Reaching the semi-finals in France will hopefully open doors for Argentina to compete more regularly at the elite level. The national side is ultra-professional, but domestic rugby in Argentina is staunchly amateur and proud of the fact.
If we get more money, we'd be able to improve our organisation and go professional. But it won't be easy, and what's more, it goes against our rugby values.
Amateurism, rifts between the federation and Argentina's own players, sponsors who are only interested at World Cup time. For years to come, Argentina will continue to export young talent, players keen to earn a living on the professional stage.
Okay, let's talk about rugby now in more general terms. Now, some people say that rugby is an elite sport, and certainly where I grew up in the north of England, people there thought that rugby was just for people from universities and for the sons and daughters of rich people. Well, I've grown up a bit since then myself, and I've discovered that it's really not the case. However, let's see what it's like in other countries. Say, in Australia, people there seem to say that rugby is only for white people. Here's a report now which examines whether it is a fact or whether black people get involved too.
Game day in Opotiki. New Zealand is playing Australia. In the heartland of Maori culture, performing the haka is second nature. But across the field, an unusual team of young Australians performed their own version of the war cry. All the players on the team are Aborigines. They're the exception which proves the rule. For most Indigenous people in Australia, playing rugby remains a luxury.
It's a game primarily played in the city areas by private school kids, and the Indigenous people of Australia, the large populations live in remote areas and are not wealthy enough to send their kids off to private schools.
In the whole history of Australian rugby, only 7 Indigenous players made it to the Wallabies, Australia's national rugby team. In 1991, one of them, Lloyd McDermott, decided to create a rugby development program aimed at bridging the gap between white and black.
Lloydies, they just see the talent and they don't really know much people, and so they just have the Indigenous talent and they go for that.
But to join the team, talent isn't everything.
Well, the criteria is they must go to school, so if they don't go to school, they don't play this game, and we don't select them.
Yeah, if this program wasn't going, there's probably a big chance I wouldn't be at school, and this program probably keeps a lot of kids at school and out of trouble.
We're actually giving the kids some self-direction, watching them achieve. You give them responsibilities, which they take back and they become leaders in their own communities.
While victory seems easy on the field, it's a different story off the field. This year, 2 major sponsors fell through and costs have gone up.
Already, just in this tour alone, the kids' expenses have gone up, and because of that, a number of kids haven't been able to come.
Money might be a major obstacle, but who knows? It mightn't be too long before we see an Indigenous wallaby again.
Sadly, that's all we've got time for today, but don't forget, of course, our rugby blog, which, as ever, is on FRANCE24-EN-Rugby-October. Your thoughts, please, about what we discussed today, your thoughts on the games coming up, the final, and, of course, the third-place playoff. Get ready, get in training. Some great rugby ahead. See you tomorrow.